On this week's episode, we welcome Taylor Montgomery, fresh off his solo third in Napa. Nice little start to his PGA Tour career, and you don't want to miss which poker star he took money from.
Wait till you hear about his favorite club in the bag. It is beat to hell.
He's ready to beat down the PGA Tour. Join us next on Fairways. Eat, sleep, and then what's the other one?
Golf.
Of course.
I should have known. Right on, man. Well, thanks for joining us, dude.
Yeah, of course. No, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. You had a pretty good weekend.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a weekend I'll remember forever, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think I doubled my earnings in just one weekend.
Has it sunk in yet? I mean, you've played on the PGA Tour before and started, and you've played in a couple of US Opens, but has it really truly sunk in that you're a PGA Tour member?
Not really. I've just been trying to practice as hard as I can and just do everything that I can do to prepare myself. And I haven't really thought about what I've been doing and kind of what's ahead. I've just been trying to put one foot forward and go from there.
It's like when we met in Boise and interviewed you after your third round, you come across as like a process versus results kind of guy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe not so much in the past, but at least lately I've been trying to figure out a system that can help me play better golf and kind of keep me focused while I'm practicing and little things like that to help me succeed as the best I can.
Did you get nervous this week in Napa?
Yeah, I did. The first two rounds was it was like a different nervous. It was more like just not as comfortable, I think. Being I haven't seen the golf course, like I don't know how it's going to play. Like I've heard it's going to get super firm, this and that, and kind of just didn't know what to expect. And the putter responded the first day, that's for sure.
I love that putter, by the way.
People make fun of me for it all the time. It has
Hey.
like missing paint chips and
Yeah.
dented on the bottom. So there's a lot to that thing.
But that's how you know it works.
Yeah, if it goes in, who cares what it looks like, right?
Yep, exactly.
That's like when you what do they say? Like if you see a guy with a Sunday bag and a bunch of old blades, you never bet against them. Just if you see a guy that has his name on the bag and the ugliest putter.
Yep, that is very true.
So take us through your last 4 weeks. I mean, you made it to the Corn Ferry Tour Finals in Boise, and then all the way through. Oh gosh, where it was, Indiana. Oh, I can't remember where it was, but you really haven't taken a break recently, have you? You've been playing like what, 6 straight weeks?
Yeah, I took off the last event of Indiana and just to kind of give myself some time for the upcoming fall.
Yeah.
I'll be pretty busy for sure coming up now. I should get into almost everything starting in the new year too. Just at the start, at least, like for like the California swing and stuff like that. So
Sure.
I'm excited to get it going. Should be fun. It'll be a lot of golf though, that's for sure.
Now, did you get that from getting the solo third this weekend? Because you increase status as you play better, right?
Yeah, like I definitely need to, like there's so many things that I don't even know, like the world ranking and crap like that that I don't even really pay attention to, but they are important if you want to get into the big events and like the major championships and things like that. So
Gotcha. Well, and you like Torrey Pines too, because the first time you played it there, and it might not be the first time, but you got T11 at the last year's Farmers, yeah?
yeah, that was the other biggest week of my life.
Yeah. It's a great course to do it on. I used to live in San Diego, so I played north and south even before the renovations, and the south is such a brutal course.
Yeah, it's a tough golf course for sure. It just plays so long, and it's I like it better in the afternoon. The ball goes a little further there.
Yeah. Do you
So
find
you
yourself?
have,
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
so you have event experience in the past. How is it different going to your first event as an actual card carrying member? Is there anything really
I
any
would
different
say,
or
yeah, I would definitely say that like when I played US Open and Farmers, I didn't have any status, so there wasn't like an expectation of like I'd say the hardest part, the expectation to keep your card. That was
right?
what was hard with like Corn Ferry and stuff. Um, you just job security is number one in anything really, but especially PGA Tour compared to like Corn Ferry Tour. There's a big difference in the amount of money that you'll make,
Sure.
Sure.
and then so I think going to my first event was definitely more nerve wracking just because I didn't know what to expect. And I'm trying to block my card up for next year as soon as I can. And I know sometimes it can come down to one shot here or there.
Yeah.
And this week helped with a big finish. I made two birdies on the last two holes, and it was a $280,000 difference. And who knows
Yeah.
how I didn't even
Yeah.
look at the points, but the points are dramatically different from like a third place finish to a sixth place finish is a lot.
Did you stick around for the ending? Speaking of it coming down
Yeah.
to a shot.
Yeah. You didn't buy your plane ticket home, did you?
I left right when they were on 18T. Kind of
Okay.
knew that, uh, and I should have stayed just because our flight
Sure.
got delayed anyways. But I was flying out of Sacramento, and it was like an hour and a half late, or an hour and a half drive, and I should have stuck around. That was one of the craziest finishes I've ever seen. Somebody
Yeah.
texted me, and we were on a road that didn't have service, and I somehow got the text message like, "Oh my God, did that just happen?" And I was like, "Oh, what happened? Do I
Am
need to
I in
go
a
back to the
playoff?
course? Like, what's going on?" Like, yeah. And I'm like, "There ain't no way. Like, the 18th hole, there's no trouble, there's no water, there's nothing. Like, it had to be something had to happen with Homa and Willett, and it did. That I mean, I told all my friends. I mean, Homa when you had that chip and Willett had that putt. I mean, he was maybe like the percentage was like maybe point one or point zero one of him able to win a golf tournament. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, the odds were so crazy. Like it just cannot happen, and
Love
it
it.
did.
What are the rules if they both just tanked it and you're on the road and you're supposed to be in a playoff? Would you get like 10 minutes to get back or something?
Uh, yeah, I don't think I would have been able to make it.
Oh, did do you carry that expectation kind of going back to that new nervous of having the expectation now that you're an official PGA Tour member? Do you carry that expectation, and do you add pressure to yourself by wanting to lock it up sooner?
um, yeah, sometimes I do, and then you try to get it out of your head as fast as possible. I mean, there's so many different thoughts that go into your head. I mean, golf is like I grew up playing all the sports, basketball,
Hmm.
baseball. Like golf is the hardest mentally because of the timing, I think. Like a
Mm,
round of golf out there is probably 4.5 hours, sometimes five if the weather is bad. And there's just so much time for thoughts to go in and out of your head. And that's why you see things that happen to Danny Willett. Like there's so they can happen so easily
yeah,
just by controlling your thoughts. It's crazy. In your body, the way it feels day to day changes. It's something that I kind of knew I mean, it just kind of nerves and stuff that cause it, but it's mainly like your thoughts, like your heart rate changes, everything changes. It's truly amazing, like how different your body can feel sometimes in a golf tournament day to day. Like it's crazy.
How do you deal with stuff like that? Did you, since you played sports, did you put yourself into competition? Did you put yourself in pressure
Well, it's not
situations?
like yeah, like growing up and stuff, I would gamble on the golf course, which is I think is great because it gives you that pressure aspect. Hey,
Sure.
I need to make this putt or do this. Like it gives you those like thoughts, and I think they've helped me prepare for moments like these. Like you're always going to fail, like everybody does. But yesterday was pretty special. Just being able to birdie the last two holes, kind of when I need to, when I don't have like the greatest status and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm gonna mess it up again sometime in the future, and then I'm gonna make up for it somewhere else. So that's just golf, and that's just how it goes.
Well, it's a hell of a start. We're talking to Taylor Montgomery here. He's a PGA Tour member, just got his card. This is his first official year on tour. You played your collegiate golf at UNLV, and I read you and your father were the only two son combo to ever play for Coach Knight.
Yeah,
That's
yep.
awesome.
My dad was a pretty good player
Yeah.
as well. He was a good ball striker. He could never putt, so I'm
So
glad he.
wait, are you the better putter and then he's the better ball striker, or how does this go?
Yeah, I would definitely say so for
Okay.
sure.
So did you
Y-
talk about your relationship with your dad and your golf relationship with him? Did he teach you? Is he your original coach for you and inspiration?
Oh yeah, yeah. I would have never got into golf if it wasn't for him and Shadow Creek and the guys that I met out there. Uh, I mean, he got me into like little games, like probably when I was 13, just gambling for $5 on the golf course, but it felt like a
It's a
million,
lot.
and I
Yeah.
just loved that feeling of like the little nerves and stuff that you had to do something, and that's what made me fall in love with the game. But my dad and I have a good relationship. We talk a lot of trash to each other and stuff like that. And people sometimes take it the wrong way. They think we hate each other, but that's not how it is. Like him and I just like to talk trash.
Right.
I like talking trash too. Eddie could attest to that.
Yeah, we you got to talk trash to your
Yeah.
buddies on tour. I mean, that actually is. Do you when you get into a good group of guys that you've played with a lot of rounds with, whether it be Corn Ferry or I mean at PGA Tour, do you guys are you a talker on the golf course? You kind of stick to you and your caddy and just head down and
Um,
focused.
not really in tournaments, but like a fun round back home and stuff. I don't think there's 1 second that goes by that somebody's not saying something offensive to somebody else. Like
Sure.
it's just how it is.
Well, I mean, your collegiate golf, you played, gosh, almost in the mecca of college golf with, Vegas, and you got Phoenix there, and then you got LA just, a drive away. Talk about college golf and how that experience kind of shaped who you are as a pro now.
Yeah, ever since like I'd say high school, I knew that I wanted to play professional golf. So when I was in college, I wasn't the greatest player. Had a few ups. I won a tournament in Colorado, and that was pretty much it. Uh, but I practiced harder than everybody else, in my opinion,
Mm.
and that really I just stuck with it. And I eventually figured out how to hit it straight because I couldn't keep the ball in play in college. So
I,
that was the main difference.
that's a lot of college golfers. I played in a small school, and there were very few guys that weren't trying to hit a hero shot every time.
Yeah, exactly. I played aggressive and I swung it about 10 miles an hour faster than I do now.
Yeah.
But couldn't find the map.
Yeah. So would you say putting's the best part of your game?
Yeah, I would say I'm known for that. I feel like I'm a pretty good wedge player from like 80 to 130 yards as well. I would say that's another big strength of mine.
What was did you have an aha moment when you said you weren't that good in college, so what made you kind of like say, hey, let's dial it back down and I need to do this if I really want to get to this next level? Did you did you have that, gosh, I know I'm really good, but what do I need to do? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I found a coach in Texas that I really liked. I worked with a lot of other guys, and uh, I mean, there's never really a quick fix, but I just didn't like him as much as I liked John Sinclair in Dallas. He's really helped me with everything, um, mainly ball striking with the driver and my iron play of recent for sure.
Very cool. So a crazy season. If I would have told you, Taylor, at the beginning of the 2022 season, you're not going to win and you're still going to get your card, would you have believed that?
My dad and I had arguments about this the whole beginning of the year. I told him how crazy it was that I needed to win to get my card. Like it's almost impossible because the points are so low. And sure enough, it was maybe the first time in his life he's ever been right.
And so you believe that you did have to win, but he's like, no, you don't have to win. You just have to play
Yeah.
what consistently. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, all you got to do is top
Fathers
10
always
every
know
week. I'm
best,
like,
man.
you know how hard that is? I was like, you know how hard that is to top 10 every week. Uh, and I was like, why don't you just win one or two and go on? But I mean, they're both hard. It's obviously really hard to win, but he was definitely right with that one.
Well, apparently you don't know how hard it is because you did it. You did it seem like
Yeah.
with ease. I mean, we weren't out there watching you every day, but you seemed I was texting with Mike after you shot 64 on Saturday at the Boise Open, and then the next week you shot 64 on Saturday. And I'm like, I think Taylor really likes to play golf on Saturday. Do you have
Yeah.
like
It's so weird.
do you have
Like
a thing that you wake up on a Saturday, and is it like the rush of moving day or something, or
no idea. Um, and then like the Sundays, I would shoot like one or two under and couldn't get anything going.
right?
And then this week, I felt like on Saturday, I couldn't get anything going. And then Sunday was a
Boom.
super low one. I don't know. Like golf is just so weird. Uh, like with, I mean, sometimes you feel like you don't play that great and you score really well, and then other times you feel like, wow, I hit it really good today, and you just don't score. I don't know. It's just golf is very weird.
Yeah. Talk about your relationship with your caddy.
Oh, he's great. It's a new guy. He's been with me 5 weeks now.
Okay.
Uh, his name's Darren Ward. Uh, I've grown up playing golf with him. I've known him since the Phil Ivey days out at Shadow Creek, and he caddies out there, and we'd have gambling matches together. And he's a great dude. Don't tell him I said that, but he is a good dude.
I won't. We're not going to have him listen to this then. All right, hold on a second. I got to follow up there. Phil Ivey days. So there's some stories there for obviously the people that might not know who Phil Ivey is. He's a professional poker player. If I'm talking about the Phil Ivey that you're talking about.
Yep,
Yeah, okay, that's
yep,
what I thought.
that's him.
So did you guys play with Phil? And if you did, what were the stakes?
I never really played golf with him when I was younger.
Okay.
But the first time I met him, my dad and I pulled into Shadow Creek, and we could hear this car coming down the street, and it just sounded like a sick car. And we heard that he played a guy for $1 million on one hole out there, and he ended up winning, obviously. And he pulls up, and I couldn't have been more than 11, 12 years old. And
Mhm.
he throws me the keys, and he's like, he wanted me to go drive it down the street. My dad and I ended up driving it, but he's like, "Hey, look what this guy bought me yesterday," and because he beat him on the ninth hole for the thing.
Wow.
He's like, "Oh, like that's how those guys were. They would win money, and they'd go out and buy something just to
Sure.
piss the other guy off
Right.
and be like, "Hey, look what your money bought me. Thank you." Like
Wow.
it was pretty cool to see that. And we had that thing going like 140 on the side street. No,
Heck
no
yeah.
cars around, but I
Sure.
mean, it was a pretty sweet thing. And that was right around the time I'm like, wow, I want to play golf and I want to get a really nice car.
Right. Guess that beats me rubbing the hamburger in that I bought with my buddies win money.
Okay, what's the most you've ever won as a non-pro, like before you even turned pro, with your buddies?
um, as of like, I've played probably a decent game, maybe like 3 or 4 thousand from guys. Like I've never played like a really, really big game. Nothing,
Yeah.
because they always, like I feel like a lot of the guys they would like to play me, but they don't want to beat me out of like 5, 10,000 uh, or anything. They don't want to get into that stuff. I mean, now they'd probably be like, all right, I'm gonna
Now they do.
beat you for like 5, 10. Yeah, I know. So I never really played like big games, but they felt big to me because I didn't really have any money. So, uh, but that's how I kind of got started in golf, and that's what interests me the most was the gambling aspect of the game.
Did
So
you
you
ever
win
go back
those
and
and you win those and you pull up in your used Civic to rub it in their faces.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
did you ever go back as an older kid to play Phil Ivey?
Well, I saw him a couple of years ago, and he said this was the last time that he ever plays with me. I had a 12 footer on hole 8. We were playing 9 holes. I had a 12 footer on 8 out at Shadow Creek, and he was running his mouth like he always does. And I was playing with my buddy Kurt as well, and he's like, "All right, hot shot, since you're so good, $1,000 even money from it was like 10, 12 feet." And I was like, "You got it," because I knew what like the putt did and stuff. Well, I ended up making it, so he gave me 1,000 all in 20s uh,
Right
on
there
that
on the
hole.
spot.
Yeah, right there on
Of
the
course, he
spot.
had
And
it in his
then
pocket.
and then we go to hole 9, and I hit it about 15 feet. And then he gave me like a little better. I mean, 15 footer is not 50-50. So I think I got 2-1 odds, which is terrible odds, anyways. And and so I had that for the double or nothing basically, but I got 2-1 odds, and I made that one as well. So I beat him out of 3,000 and 2 putts, and that was the last time I saw him.
You should call him again.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I'm sure I'll see him sometime soon.
Oh, I love it. He's Taylor Montgomery, and he's taken $3,000 of Phil Ivey's money. That's a first on Rough Fairways. I love it, man. Uh,
uh,
all right. So you got a week off, President's Cup this week. You gonna play Sanderson?
yep. Yeah, I'm playing Sanderson.
Okay,
Playing pretty much everything I can get into in the fall for sure.
sure. Walk us through a week, a day in the life of Taylor Montgomery on tour. Do you have like are you a routine guy? Do you show up, 15 minutes putting, chipping, then range?
Like tournament play or just
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
pro-ams and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a tournament. Typically I get to the course 2 hours early and either have breakfast or lunch, like sit around and then warm up for like an hour and 20 minutes and then kind of go. And then after that, if I don't have if I have a morning round, I'll practice a little bit in the afternoon. But it's pretty tiring playing tournament golf, especially 2, 3 weeks in a row. It's pretty hard on your body to like performance wise. Like it's hard to play really good golf because you're walking 8-9 miles a day and swinging a club, and it gets tough after a while.
Yeah.
Have you changed? I mean, I know this is, I guess, just your first tournament. Have you changed, or do you think you need to change anything about your preparation now that you're on the PGA Tour versus the way you did things on Corn Ferry?
I don't think so. Well, this year I am going to change because I don't know any of the golf courses. So I'm going to try to play in a lot of the Monday pro-ams,
Gotcha.
and just so I can uh, see 18 holes of the course early, and then kind of rest on Wednesday because I won't be in the pro-ams there. And then Tuesday probably practice and play 9 holes. The 9 holes that I think is like tougher for me.
Sure.
Let's expand on that. What's tougher to you? What do you mean by that? Like, is that how the course is set up, or?
Yeah, just by like like which 9 do I think is like the harder 9. I'll play that one, or like more tricky, I guess, like more demanding shots. I'll try to play that one more so than the other on Tuesday.
You got a travel buddy? You travel with your caddy?
Don't really travel. I mean, we travel sometimes, like flights and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I typically have my like own hotel room and kind of do my own thing, and we'll go get dinner and stuff like that. I'll go eat with some of the players and stuff like that, but nothing like completely set up and repetitive.
You going to take the camaraderie that you guys typically have on the Corn Ferry Tour to the PGA Tour, or is it all business now? I mean, obviously it's fun, of course. You guys are all have that same goal to get your cards, and you made friends on the Corn Ferry Tour, and you probably have PGA Tour friends. But is it a different mindset, or do you guys still have that? Because and Mike and I've been interviewing some Corn Ferry guys for the last year, and it just seems like a really really good like frat camaraderie. Everybody's on the same team to get their cards.
No, it is. We all had fun at orientation last week as well. Uh, there wasn't a guy on the Corn Ferry Tour that I didn't like. Um, we all get along. They're great dudes, and obviously in tournament time, we're all trying to beat each other, but we're all friends as well.
Yeah.
So it's golf is a little different in that aspect of the game. You're not trying to beat somebody's brains in as much, like
Sure.
physically.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one thing I like about golf, even just playing amongst friends. Like, you want to, if you win, you want to win because you played your best against someone else's best. You're not hoping for someone to tank so that you can win. You're not happy if you win because you just played the best out of everybody who played terrible that day.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you guys are all, your own bosses and trying to, like you said, beat each other's brains in and still have that friendship remain intact.
Oh,
And there's no hard feelings, of course, but it's just golf, right? At the end of the day, right?
yeah, exactly. Like the only ones that can control our shots, like we are technically playing against them, but it's not like a reaction sport where you're actually reacting to the other player and what they're doing. It's all on you, and yeah, we talk a bunch of crap to each other and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, we're still friends.
Absolutely. What's the best advice you've ever received from a fellow pro?
Um, Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm not sure yet. I'd have to think about that one.
Okay. It's still a work in progress. When we have you on after you win, um, then you can answer that.
All right, I will.
All right. So what's the goal this year? Obviously to get your card, and to maintain and to keep your card, job security, as you said. How do you mentally, how are you just going to approach that? Are you just going to, head down process versus results and let it happen, then you're going to get a text from Jay Monahan or the PGA Tour communications going, hey, you wrapped up your card, or you already know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of just play week to week and see what happens. But I'd really like to make it to East Lake at the end of the year. I think that would be
I like
a
that.
really good year. It's going to be tough, but it definitely helps with the start that I had last week.
Does. So we have this running. It's I don't know what it is. It could be magic. It could just be a joke here on Rough Fairways, but it's the podcast bump. And when we invited you on before you started your tournament, and everybody that comes on this podcast, after they are on the podcast, they typically do very, very well. So the
Well, I
fact
hope that continues for sure.
it will, Taylor. So, but the fact that we invited you on before Fortinet and then you placed third, it was like a pre-podcast bump already.
Yeah, we don't want to take too much credit.
Exactly.
So we're not trying to take too much credit, but I'm just saying you're welcome.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true.
Let's do some quick hitters here. What's the last shot that gave you nightmares?
The last shot that gave me nightmares
In tournament play.
That'd definitely be probably when I was playing really bad was the 16th hole at Victoria National, or the 14th, or the 17th, or the 18th. I mean, that golf
entire
course,
back nine.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. That course and I just don't get along.
Okay.
All right, I know what your favorite club in the bag is. So what's your second favorite club?
I don't know. I kind of like chipping
What's
as
your
well.
favorite
So
non-putter in the bag?
probably like a 60 degree or a driver.
Nice.
The others are kind of
Just-
boring. I guess
just
it would
there.
be either driver or 60. Yeah.
When's the last time you paid for a round of golf?
Not that long ago. Where did I? Somewhere in Arizona, I think. Just went down there and I think it was like $80 or something. So
You ever get the feeling now that you're a PGA Tour member, you can just kind of pull your card out and just as you're grabbing for your visa and go, oh, what's that? And then just have it fall out or something.
no,
And just pull
No,
literally the
I would-
PGA
I would-
Tour card out of
Do
your
you
wallet.
guys take this card?
no, I would never do that. But
You're too nice of a guy to do
I
that.
don't know. Yeah, I don't want to be an arrogant type.
Who's the best dressed on tour?
Best dressed. Ooh, I have no idea.
All
No clue.
right. Who's your Mount Rushmore of golfers?
I'd say probably Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and two more. Probably Arnold Palmer, and then I didn't really watch Jack play, but I'd probably like to watch him, so I'd probably pick Jack as well.
On there, yeah.
All right, let's say 20, 30 years when we're all older, we're watching the Masters. Who's your honorary starters for the Masters?
I would say Paul Azinger and Colt Knost. Both of those guys.
Nice.
I love it.
All right, you're commissioner for the day. You get to pick one rule in golf. You get to change. What are you picking?
One rule. Oh man, there's so many of them. Why can I not think about it? What is a dumb rule?
I think 90% of them are dumb, but
Yeah, there's some. Oh, there's one. The one that's really weird is like, say your driver breaks or like cracks,
Mhm.
if you have, or like, let's say your driver head breaks and you have your backup driver head in your golf bag, you can't play it. It has to be in your locker. And then somebody has to go to your locker and grab the driver head and they have to bring it out to you. I think that's a really weird rule.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Which it's like rules you would never even think of, but it happened to Justin Suh during Omaha, the Omaha Corn Ferry event.
Mhm.
And luckily he had his driver back at his hotel room and somebody went and grabbed it. But he wouldn't have been able to play it if he had his driver shaft like in his bag or something like that. It's
Weird.
very odd to me.
I will say you have
That's an odd
picked one of
rule.
the more obscure rules out of all the times we've asked that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always talk rules on the show. I don't know if you've listened to any of the previous episodes, and you probably haven't, but yeah, we always like to talk rules on this show. And just because I think there's so many rules that you don't even know. I didn't even know that rule existed. And
No.
so it's just
Yeah,
kind of, it's silly.
it's weird. And they change them all the time, but sometimes they don't change the right ones.
Yeah, 8 times out of 10 we usually get the divots in the fairway rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a fade or you play a draw?
I try to play a draw, but it kind of fades. But it's, I'm trying to get it to go right to left.
What do you prefer, tree line golf courses or links?
I would say definitely tree line golf courses.
Okay.
Would you rather play in the wind or the rain?
Definitely the wind. The rain, like in golf carts, it sounds nice, but like with the umbrella and the towels, and it's just a pain in the ass.
Front pin or back pin?
Depends on if the greens are firm or soft. Front pin if they're soft. Back pin if they're firm.
I like that. That was the first qualifying answer there.
That's right. Never had anybody think through that one.
No, they just answer it. I like that.
One course for the rest of your life you get to play for free.
Definitely Shadow Creek.
Nice. I'm still looking at that stats of this last year that you had. You closed the season with 7 top 10s in your final 8 starts, and then you also finished second on the tour in all around ranking. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yep. And like the scoring average was a
Yeah,
big thing
68.36
for me, which
and,
was nice. Yeah.
and birdie average.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you a
That's
stats guy? Do you keep track of your stats?
not
Do they,
really.
no?
No.
Are you a scoreboard watcher?
Not really. No.
Okay. Just head down and get the job done. And then if you win, somebody's going to tell you won.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'll look at it in like the last if I see it and stuff. It doesn't really bug me. You just never know what can happen. Well, I mean, the guy could birdie the last 2 or he can bogey the last 2. Like there's so many different things that can happen in
Take
the
a 3
game
putt
of
from
golf.
3 feet.
Yeah.
Do you have a playoff record?
Yeah.
Have you ever played in the playoff?
Like yeah, I've played in a couple playoffs, like in a tournament or
Yeah. Just like
Yeah.
like a tour event. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, like a Corn Ferry event. I played in a playoff and there was 3 of us and he birdied our first hole and I lost. Yep.
That was that. So how are you? Are you a flyer or a driver around to tournaments? Are you gonna take your car to drive, or you just gonna fly everywhere and just?
No, I'm just gonna fly everywhere.
Okay.
We kind of go all over the place. Maybe for the West Coast swing, I'll drive, but other than that, you kind of have to fly.
Sure.
Well, if NetJets is listening, Taylor needs a sponsorship.
Yeah. Hook
We've
them up.
talked to them. They're pretty expensive, even
I
with the
bet.
logo on the chest, more than people think.
Oh
I
yeah.
bet.
But yeah, they need to come down in price for sure. I hope they're listening.
Who are your sponsors, Taylor? Who helps you out?
Diamante is going to be a sponsor. I have Ascendant National, Peloton, not the bike,
Oh,
but and then MGM Rewards is obviously a huge sponsor, and then there's new ones up and coming. Hopefully that I'll have by the end of this year.
can you talk about that process? I mean, are they reaching out to you, or do you have a manager? Are you yeah, just talk about that.
Yeah, I have an agent. He does a really good job. It's crazy all the stuff that has to happen, and you hear a lot of things like, "Oh, this person's going to give you this," or "This person's going to do that," and a lot of the times it never ends up happening. But uh, I mean, it's still great just to get to know the guys, and maybe a relationship or a sponsorship can happen in the future.
That's awesome. Well, he's Taylor Montgomery. He is an official PGA Tour member this year. Your first full year on tour. Taylor, before we let you go, I want to know how golf has changed your life.
I feel like as a kid, it's definitely changed my life. You never know like what path you're going to take in life, and like golf kept me on, and golf and basketball kept me on like the straight and narrow. No drugs, no nothing. I mean, I've been a pretty good kid up to this point, that's for sure. And I think golf has just gave me something to focus on to kind of not let me steer off the wrong path, really. So hopefully, more kids can uh, learn to love a sport and just stick with it and not listen to all the people telling them they can't do something. And hopefully, they just continue to do it and prove them wrong.
Raw Fairways is produced by Eddie Dunn and Mike Sells. Man, that story about Phil Ivey and taking his money, that's going to be a first on this show. Taylor, thanks again for the stories. Good luck for the rest of the year. For Mike, I'm Eddie. We are Rough Fairways. Coming up in the next couple of weeks, we got PGA Tour player Philip Knowles and some more surprise guests. You just got to tune in. Listeners, appreciate your support. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy. Go play some golf. Get outside. And please be kind to each other.